Good afternoon. My name is Ayana if you don't know me, and this is my first video that I've ever made, so please be gentle with me. I felt really guided today that I really wanted to share with you in a different way. If you don't know me, I'm a writer and I also work in healthcare and I have a degree in psychology. So I'm very interested in people and how everyone interacts with each other, how we can reach our full potential, and how we can heal ourselves and step into all that we are. My journey has been very up and down, and I wanted to share a little bit about that with you, and how I've come from basically reaching rock bottom and completely losing myself to reaching this state where I'm at now, where I actually have the courage to share myself a little more with everybody. So I'm recording this at the start of January 2016, a brand new year, feeling full of hopefulness and happiness, and it feels like a fresh start for all of us, that we can really step into more of who we are finally. There's no more hiding, even if we want to, which I really do most of the time. But I've been feeling a little bit like, for years I've been reading, accumulating knowledge, going to workshops, going to events, and trying to become more of the person who I want to be. But then there's a stalemate where you think, okay, I've integrated this knowledge, how am I going to use it? Am I going to have the guts to share it with people? Or am I just going to keep going round in circles, thinking, I'm not ready yet, when will I be ready? And I'm here to tell you that you are ready, now is the time. And there's no more dress rehearsals, there's no more thinking, okay, once I've finished this I can do it, once I've finished this project, once I look more the way I want to look, then I'll be ready. It's not gonna happen. Trust me, it's not gonna happen. And just to let you know that you're more perfect than you think you are, and you've got more to give the world than you think you do. So don't be afraid of stepping out there and putting yourself in the light and showing yourself to people, because your presence might be exactly what they need right now to help them in the world. Just you saying a few words to someone, saying good morning, or sending someone a text message asking how they are. You might save a life by doing that, you just don't know. So don't be afraid to follow your intuition, even if it seems scary to do so. So anyway, all that I just said just came out of nowhere and wasn't what I was here to share, but I hope that helped you. So, okay, a little bit about me, because some people might not know the story of how I've come to be where I am today. So it started off with, as I grew up, I've always had an understanding of spirituality because my nanny was very interested in it, and she used to create meditation CDs, or not CDs back then, tapes. And when I used to go to my nanny's house, I used to play in the garden and make, talk to the fairies and make little fairy gardens, and that place was so magical to me and so amazing. And I used to do guided meditations with her, and she used to take me on these amazing journeys in my mind, where we used to go to Egyptian temples, and we used to go in hot water balloon, is that right? Hot, you know what I mean, balloon rides. And we used to go in these amazing secret gardens. And I was just so fascinated that you could create something with your mind out of nowhere, that you could go on this miraculous, amazing journey just with your own mind. And so it sparked off, I think, with that, my interest in spirituality. And then my uncle also is a palliative consultant in Australia, so I was very interested that he melded medicine with spirituality, and wrote a couple of books about how to support someone through the dying process spiritually, and to provide support for those people going through that. And that was a big inspiration for me as well, which has actually led me to the journey I'm at the moment, working in healthcare. And so those were my early experiences. And as a teenager, I lost myself and pretty much hit rock bottom, and went from a state from just hating myself and not having any compassion for myself at all. And looking back, it was extremely hard, but it was also completely necessary for me to go through that step, because it has taught me some very valuable lessons about myself. And as an adult now, trying to be an adult, I'd say that I've had experiences now of complete forgiveness of myself for going through that state and for having such hate for myself. So if anybody is going through that or has been through that, just a little message of hope that to go from that to where I am now, feeling so inspired and positive, I would never have thought I could go through such a thing as what I'm going through now. So if you feel like giving up on life, then just have that little hope inside that maybe things will change for the better and that you're here for a reason. So after going through that whole experience, I came out of it in one piece and wanted to make a difference in the world. So that's how I started on my psychology degree, and I was very much enjoying it, but I was very painfully shy as well, so that did affect my ability to make friends and get out there in the world. And at that time I became very unwell and I couldn't walk. My legs would twitch uncontrollably and I'd fall over, and I was in a lot of pain. And the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. And again, I went through this whole journey of exploration to try to heal myself. And I had to make huge changes in my life. So I had to give up alcohol completely. I started yoga and meditation more, and exploring a lot more into spirituality, and I trained in Reiki as well to try and heal myself. And that really was a revelation for me, and I came out the other side a lot stronger for it and a lot more sure of myself. So having been through that experience, I don't know. Having gone through that experience, I then decided to start a society at uni, because having no longer drinking alcohol anymore, it was quite hard to socialise with people. And when I started uni as well, I wanted to go through this spiritual journey to find myself. So I started going to Buddhist meditation societies, and I also started my own society called Sussex Spiritual Society. And this was a really beautiful, amazing journey that I'm really grateful for. And it gave me the friendship and the group to be able to have the courage to get out there and go to more events and to try new things. So we went out there and we went to dance workshops, to singing workshops, meditation workshops, all kinds of weird and wonderful things. And it really opened up my world and made me realise that there's more out there in the world than I possibly thought there was. There isn't just meditation in the spiritual world, there's so many different viewpoints and personas and just amazing, beautiful things that you can align with if that's what you want to do. So that was a big time of exploration in my life. And when I finished uni, I again reached this time of transition where I became a little bit lost and I didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my life after that. And I ended up working in a hospital, and from there I decided that I wanted to work in healthcare full time and to train in it as well. So that's the journey that I'm currently on. And then, as if you thought I was done and it's all up from here, I had another huge health crisis last year. And I woke up one day and the whole left side of my body was numb. And from there I thought, okay, am I having a stroke? What's happening to me? And that carried on for about 6 months. So it affected my walking. I again was in pain. Again, the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. And so, having gone through my biggest fear again, that it would come back again, I embraced it and just said, okay, this is happening to me. What am I going to do about it? So I utilised my inner strength and I rehabilitated myself using all of the spiritual techniques that I knew would work for me. And I spent a lot of time in nature and did a lot of walking as my body would allow me to do. And luckily for me, I had already booked a pilgrimage to Peru at the end of the year. So I kind of didn't have a choice, because I could either not go to Peru and just lie in bed bedridden, or I could actually utilise my inner strength and say, this is what I want to go to Peru, I want to go to Machu Picchu, I want to heal, and I want to become healthy again. And luckily I improved enough to be able to take that trip, and it was absolutely mind transforming. It was beautiful, and it was such an amazing adventure, being able to see Cusco and the Sacred Valley, and to see Machu Picchu, or what we did see of it, because it was very rainy. But it was really beautiful. We did get to see some of it. And Pisac as well was one of my favourite places. That was just, I just felt at home there. It was really beautiful and blissful. And we then spent a week in the jungle and did an ayahuasca immersion. which was very unexpected because I didn't want to do it at all. I had no interest in it. But when I got there, I felt like it was something that I should do and that I was there for a reason. And I have no time to go through every single experience I had during that week because it was so profound and so deep. But it has had really big changes in my life, actually. I think it has clarified me and purified me, and it has opened me up more than I thought it would do. And that's been a very gentle, gradual process to get to where I am today. So I'm very grateful to have that experience and for the people who facilitated it, because I felt very safe during that experience, and I felt very able to explore who I was. So that was 2014, and so now in 2016 I was looking back to 2015 and the amazing experiences I had, and I went to 6 amazing festivals and met some beautiful awakened people. I danced, I laughed, I cried, I climbed trees, I spent time in beautiful bluebell fields, I meditated, and it was just an absolutely amazing summer and probably one of the best years of my life, I've got to say. It really was amazing, just opening up and saying yes to life and allowing myself to have those experiences and not to worry about how much it cost or the fact that I was going to things alone. Like, I went to the first festivals completely by myself. I didn't know anybody at all, and that was quite scary. But by doing that, it allowed me to be more confident in myself and trust that I could talk to people that I didn't know and go and try new things and drive across the country to Cornwall by myself, all kinds of fun things. So yeah, it was a really spectacular year, I've got to say. So now it's 2016 and it's 5 days in, and my theme for the year is expansion, and this came to me around October, and I thought, oh, expansion, do I really want to choose that? That sounds a bit scary, and that sounds like I'm gonna have to show myself to people and be a bit braver, and I don't want to do that because I'm scared. So so yeah, I pushed that aside for a while and said, no, I don't want to do that. No, not choosing that. And Spirit kept poking me a little bit of a stick and saying, yeah, no, sorry, you're gonna have to do that now. You've gone through it. You've learned your lessons, but now it's time for you to share with people. And we're gonna help you realise that you're ready for that process, but you need to have the courage and step out there into the world, and you need to integrate those parts of yourself that you've lost along the way. So it got to probably about December time, and then it was poking me so much of a stick that I said, okay, whatever, I'll give myself to the universe. Tell me what to do. I'll be of service for you. Tell me who to talk to. Tell me where to go. I'll do it for you. So I surrendered myself to Spirit and said, okay, make me be ready. And I guess that's taken me to today, and this video, having the courage to step out there and to share myself with everybody and to share my words. And this isn't easy for me because I've had a lot of experiences in my life that have made me want to be smaller, and I've had people tell me that I'm not good enough. I used to be a singer, songwriter, and I used to be an artist, and that was a huge part of who I was. I was a very creative person all of my life until I got into my teenage years, and then I had a few people who told me that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't going to make the grades, and I believed them, and I closed down completely. And instead of taking that as a challenge, I completely closed down those parts of myself, and I said, okay, I'm never going to sing again, I'm never going to create art again, I'm not good enough. I believed them, and that really had a huge effect on me because that was closing off a huge part of who I was, and it was quite traumatic for me because believing that you're not good enough when it's such a profound part of who you are, it really does close off a part of your soul, I think. And I've got to the point just in the last week or two where I've just naturally felt like, actually, I don't want to be a victim anymore. I don't want to believe what other people tell me. Only I can tell myself whether I'm good enough or not. And so yesterday I went and bought a huge amount of art stuff. I'll show it to you. So I just felt really compelled to go and buy a huge amount of art stuff because I just wanted to create. This was what my spirit wanted me to do, was just to get my hands messy and just to take my visions and the things I'm seeing in my mind and just make them a reality. And just to have joy in creating again, not to create to be judged, not to create for the grades, like that takes away the joy of creation. So just getting your hands messy and just enjoying the beautiful colours and the textures and beauty is the message that they want me to integrate. And also I felt very compelled to pick up my guitar again and to start playing and listening to a lot of music as well. So it's basically all of those times I've been told I'm not good enough. It's now really letting go of those and just saying, I don't care about other people's opinions of me. All that matters now is my opinion of myself and the joy of creating something beautiful in this world, to represent beauty and love. So that's my intuition at the moment, is just to embrace love and creativity and all that you want to be, just having the courage to be that, just to explore it by yourself. No one else matters. You don't have to share it with anybody at all. You can just create it, and if it's not good enough, just, rip the page up or whatever. But just have that joy in just getting lost in creating something beautiful just for yourself. No one else matters, just you. And I need to remember to breathe. Okay. So Another really big theme that is coming to me at the moment, and my phone is going off, so I'm just going to ignore that for a minute. So another big theme that I really want to explore at the moment is self-love. And I feel that this is a huge, huge thing in the world at the moment that is so important, that we've been told so much by people that we're not good enough, that we're not beautiful enough, telling ourselves that we're not beautiful enough. And I've got to say that before making this video, I spent rather a long time doing my makeup and making sure that the positioning of the camera was just right, just to make sure that it didn't look like I had bags under my eyes, and making sure that my hair wasn't too frizzy, all of that sort of stuff. And so, and even then I thought, okay, do I want to make the video today? But I've got to tell you, you're never going to have flawless, beautiful, perfect skin. Your hair's never going to look perfect. Your voice is never going to sound husky and beautiful like you want it to. Just embrace all that you are, that beautiful little mess that you are, because that is what makes you beautiful. And I think self-love is incredibly important. It really is, because if you don't think that you're enough, then how can you create anything in the world? How can you share with people if you don't think that you're good enough to receive? And I see so many people who don't think they're good enough, who say things about themselves that are negative, and I look at them and I just think, you're beautiful, you really are, and you've got so much to give the world. But everyone's their own worst critic at the end of the day. So my message to you is to have the courage to be brave enough to love yourself, and not in a conceited way and an arrogant way. I mean, if you don't love yourself enough already, then you're not going to go from that to being arrogant, are you? It's a small step each time of just thinking that you're good enough to receive more in the world. And so if you love yourself, what would you do to nurture yourself? And what I did today was to have a really nice relaxing bath, and I have a load of really nice natural rose smelling products, and I just luxuriated in the really beautiful scent of roses. And I then did my makeup and put on my favourite dress and my favourite beautiful crystal jewellery, because that makes me feel good, knowing that I'm wearing clothes that feel nice on my body and represent who I want to be as a spirit. So it's showing my inwards beauty represented in the way that I look on the outside, rather than dressing in a way that's trying to prove something to someone else, to keep up with the latest fashion trends or anything like that. So that's what I did today, to feel better about myself, to nurture my body and to tell my little spirit that I love myself enough to nurture myself. So I want you to do something to nurture yourself today, to tell yourself that you love yourself. And that could be buying flowers for yourself, that could be writing in your journal, going for a walk, even though it looks a bit rainy outside, or you could buy something that makes you happy. So, like, let me think. Like yesterday when I bought all of that art stuff, instead of thinking, oh, that's a lot of money to waste on a load of art stuff that you might not ever use, I just thought, okay, this is a part of myself that wants to be expressed. I'm going to love myself enough to let myself express it. So I'm going to buy myself a present, and that's an act of self-love. So what can you do today to love yourself a little bit more, to tell yourself that you deserve more? And what can you say about yourself today? Like, what do you love about yourself? You could say, I love my body because it carries my spirit and it allows me to interact with the world. And I love my personality because my personality allows me to be reserved and to listen to people and to notice people, and it allows me to be passionate about the things that I love in this world. So I want you to nurture yourself in some way. This is your homework, and I would like you to say something about yourself that you love. And I'm only saying one thing, but you could say a lot of things about yourself. I'd prefer you to write a list if you can. Even write a love letter to yourself to remind yourself of how beautiful you are. Because we all need to tell ourselves that we're beautiful. It's lovely having someone else tell us that as well, but that doesn't matter if you don't believe it yourself. So that's my message for today. And I've enjoyed my first video, so thank you for listening. And I hope that this brings you some joy and some happiness today. And I really hope with all of my heart that you love yourself a little bit more today, because you deserve it more than anything in this world. And by loving yourself, trust me, it will open up worlds for you, and you will be more of service in this world, and you will be able to make a greater difference in this world, because you will be magnetic and you will light up this world, and everyone will want to work with you because they'll see something in you that they want to see in themselves. So by taking that time out for yourself, you are creating a pathway that is far more grounded and spacious. So trust me, it will be worth it. And as I'm finishing this recording, the time just went to 33:33. So with the sacred numbers, I'm going to leave it there. And just say thank you so much for listening to this. And I'm sorry that it's carried on for a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I hope that I didn't bore you too much. So lots and lots of love to you, and just a few more deep breaths in. May you be surrounded by so much love and joyfulness and beautiful beings that want to interact with you. And may you make this world a better, more joyful, beautiful place. Thank you.